Hey everybody, welcome back to the Breaking Bad Insider Podcast. We're talking about episode 411. My name is Kelly Dixon. I'm here with a bunch of guests today. I'm here with Vince Gilligan.
Hello.
And Sam Catlin, writer Sam Catlin, writer George Mastras, actor Bob Odenkirk plays Saul, actor Aaron Paul plays Jesse Pinkman.
Hello.
And our music composer, Dave Porter.
Hi.
Thanks, you guys, for coming. Hey, you know what? I'm going to rush a little bit this in the beginning because Bob Odenkirk has to leave us. So I just wanted to jump right in, Vince, and let's talk a little bit to Bob about these great scenes that our writers wrote.
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of Saul's scenes over the years are just that kind of fun. He's having a good time, playing this game. He likes doing it. But then these scenes that are where he's got his back to the wall, his own the stakes are going up for him, and then these guys are so such strong performers, and it's a real challenge. Nothing harder than doing one line in a scene that has any kind of emotion to it. That's the worst. Yeah. That's the biggest challenge.
That's the hardest.
But when you have room to move and find your way, that's very helpful.
That's interesting. I didn't realize that.
We should write really long dialogue scenes.
I'm not.
Lots
Look,
of stuff you have to memorize.
the fact that people seem to like that
Pages and pages of stuff you have
is
to
a reason to do it. But then also, I love it.
Cool.
God bless you, man. Thank you.
All right.
When we know you got to leave and go.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you so much, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, man.
I'm curious. Is Ted blackmailing Skyler? Does he want more money? It didn't occur to me, and I was like, "Wow, that's cool."
But we wanted to kind of straddle the line with this scene about, whether or not, I think this is kind of an open question about whether or not he's really blackmailing. I think he kind of has to be, right?
I think so too.
I think that
But
he may not know it himself, but
It's like saying, "Well, I'll have to kick the kids out of school, and I have to pay for the house."
And I noticed you didn't give me all the money back. There's the money for the Mercedes. You are going to be returning that, right? Oh, well, these things are very difficult to get.
But he doesn't play. He plays it really well because there's nothing kind of shifty-eyed about him too much.
My favorite line every time when you first said it, it floored me. And right here this is our writers' room where we tape these podcasts. Right here in the writers' room. With the line about where she says, "Ted, are you blackmailing me?" No, what, blah blah blah. Let's say the line.
I feel like I'm not explaining it right.
The first time you said that, I almost fell out of my chair.
He blames himself for the misunderstanding.
I love that line.
It off, right?
Yeah.
It is easy to make any character. It's easy to put the black hat or the white hat on him completely, but we like gray hats.
Yeah.
And and his logic is.
He wants to get the business back. He wants to put his people back to work.
Yeah, on paper it all sounds pretty good, and yet he's still, douchey McGee here. So
we always would talk about because Ted's got to get, he's got to get payback's a bitch, and that we're pitching these scenes where Walt shows up in the pouring rain with a silencer and puts a bullet through his head. But ultimately, how Ted gets dealt with is so much more satisfying. It's so much more kind of deliciously anticlimactic.
So, jumping back a little bit, Jesse really makes a stand, at this point too with Gus, where they're like it's 6 miles to Texas and they're gonna walk, and they're leaving Mike. Mike is still, they have to leave him there. So but Jesse basically said, Gus is like, you can run the lab on your own. You've proven that you can do it. And you basically tell him, Jesse basically tells him, "I'm not going to do it. We'll have a problem if you kill Mr. White." I love that you still call him Mr. White.
Oh, so do I. I think it's great. I mean, I love the relationship between Jesse and Mike that's been kind of blossoming, and I mean, he cares for him, and obviously such a different way.
Sort of a May-December kind of a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm sorry to interrupt your flow there, because you're right. You're heading to something good here, which is like
I don't know if I was heading to anything good.
He's got to leave this guy behind.
Oh yeah, he's got to leave this guy behind. He's like, wow. And Gus has been he hasn't been playing Jesse, I don't think, but he has been using Jesse to help him get what he wants.
Right.
And but he's just such an evil man, you know.
Don't want to talk about the Walt laughing
Yeah.
in the crawl space.
It's at this moment that I think we conceived of the laughing in the room. I mean, it was this moment where Walt, everything. I mean, it's just he's at the end of the line. Everything
Yeah.
he just found out that the money that was going to save his family's lives is now that's
given to
gave it away to
Beneke.
Beneke to pay him off, which is the ultimate absurdity of absurdities. And the only thing he can do at that point is sort of like laugh at the gods, and that's sort of I think what we were trying to go
Yeah.
for. It was like you're so fucked
Yeah.
that there's no getting out of this. And in Walt's mind, he's a dead man, and he's caused in this moment he's caused like the death of his family, and so that was the only absurd sort of reaction to it. And Brian played it perfectly.
Perfectly.
Really.
You guys wrote it great, and then Brian played it great. And we were worried in the writers' room, as I recall, like if this were any lesser actor. I mean, even with Brian doing it, we're worried. Will this play the way we intend it? A guy laughing, will it just seem silly or weird or just bump us? But he is so clearly hysterical. He's so clearly closer to the edge of sanity than he's ever been, than we've ever seen him before. And Brian just nailed it.
I also feel like this whole last act, he's such a hard case this season, Walt, and like this end of this episode feels to me like the first time in a while where I felt sorry for him. I really felt sorry for Walt. Like he's fucked.
And then the music, fantastic.
Yeah.
One of my favorite cues ever.
Thank you. That's one of my favorite scenes that we've done, certainly this season. And when I watched it at home, like we were talking about before, and it had no music in it, it starts really for me when he rushes out of Saul's office to head back to try to get the money, and that is clearly one of our high tension, high drama cues that I love to do. But then there was this moment when he yells at Skylar from the crawl space.
Yeah.
And there's a shot, and I'm not good at explaining the technical stuff about the camera stuff, but there's a shot from down below of Skylar sort of fading back
Yeah.
into the dark, and I had this thought, this is Breaking Bad doing a horror movie.
Yes.
I really had that feeling, and every composer salivates at the thought of doing horror movies because it's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
fun, and there's tons of music, and the music is so usually forward and front and powerful, and so that was the moment where we could strip it all out and just reduce it to something that's just very visceral and horrifying.
Yeah.
Because you're horrified for him. I mean, you're sad for him, but I was mostly just horrified for him. I mean, his days are so numbered.
Right.
There, and none of it's going to go well.
Because we conceived of that shot looking down on Walt, and the idea was supposed to be he was like lying in a tomb, and then when the laughing goes off, we just wanted that ultimate stillness, and then so as that was raising, I mean, your music really accentuated what we had in the script, which was that visual of Walt sort of in the bowels of his house, dead practically.
For those that are interested
which was
in the music technology behind it, it's actually deceptively simple. It was just that last shot where the camera pulls is one strike of a piece of metal on metal.
Really?
Yeah, that you don't even hear.
Yeah.
Because I've taken it out, but then I've fed it into an analog delay that repeats, and it repeats in rhythm with the tempo that I'd established earlier. But what you're doing is with each repeat, it feeds some of the previous iterations of it back in,
So like a
feeding
feedback
back
loop.
like a guitar would.
Okay.
And so it's gradually
okay.
growing and growing and growing until it's essentially obliterating all the frequencies.
It goes
Awesome.
into the end. I love the way it goes
And
into
then
the end
it just
titles.
sucks out into Vince's credit.
You guys were saying, is this like the loudest we've ever gotten on the show? Like there's something in the mix, like that there's like a legal limit of how loud you can go, and
There's always
that's
a
it?
legal limit, and we always abide by it. It feels like this was louder than any other music we've ever done, but it's just it's deceptive. It's perception. It's still within the legal limit.
Perceived loudness in this case. Wow. But at home, it should hopefully.
Unfortunately, we gotta wrap it up. So thank you, Aaron, Dave,
Thanks, Kelly.
Vince,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sam, George. Thank you, everybody, for taking time on your Sunday to come talk to us. Oh, sorry. Thank you, everybody. Let's go Break Bad.